learn hopefully we'll learn something new because we now have a longtime collector who I think has not made a presentation before. Betty Pomish, who has bought and sold Shelley China for over 25 years, would like to share with us her love of breakfast sets. So please hold your questions until the end. And I think you'll be delighted what she has to share with us. So Betty, please begin.
I think we're all set now. Hello, everyone. I'm Betty Pomish, and today I'm going to give a talk about Shelley breakfast sets. When I was asked to give this talk, I accepted it without giving much thought and said, sure. Then I realized how little I knew about the topic. So I'm both honored and humbled at the same time to speak to you today, and I'll do my very best to share what I've learned and what I already knew. In fact, most of you probably know more about Shelley than what I do. So I would appreciate any information that you may have to share with us. So please, once the presentation is over, please put up your hand to share with us. Feel free to get a cup of coffee or tea as we go through this journey together, discovering breakfast sets. I've added some information about breakfast and how our morning meal came about through the ages, and hope you will find this information as interesting as I have. Some of you may have studied this topic before, so this will just be a review of something you already know. What's a breakfast set? We've all seen them. Some of us display them. Other of us use them in our daily lives. But what comprises a breakfast set? These beautiful sets turn up in internet, in antique stores, sold as breakfast sets. Some people say, oh, they must include a teapot. Others say, oh, they must include a coffee pot. But I believe these beautiful sets have just evolved. Shelley's traditional breakfast sets we see in antique stores and on the internet display certain pieces. And these pieces include some kind of coffee pot, hot water pot, or teapot with a sugar and cream cup and saucer, a small plate, a larger plate, a fruit bowl, an egg cup, and a dome dish that we call a muffin dish. It's debatable if Shelley ever sold these on the market. I've searched high and low to find a catalog showing a breakfast set for sale. So if you have a Shelley catalog showing breakfast sets for sale, please share them with our Shelley group. This is a partial breakfast set, and it's in the butte shape, a blue rose pattern. The butte shape was manufactured first in the 1890s under the Wileman back stamp, and then Shelley manufactured this shape again in 1907 through 1939. Finally again in 1950 to 1962. A breakfast set can be as varied as the person using it. Pieces were normally selected from a larger group. If Shelley sold breakfast sets, it probably would have been directed toward the American market, as Shelley was known to manufacture different styles and shapes to many different countries. It's my belief that the use of a breakfast set started during the late 1800s into the early 1900s. People of wealth had servants to do the cooking and cleaning, so a servant carried the wife's tray up to her room, and it was not customary for the wife to join the breakfast table at that time. Instead, the wife was served breakfast on a tray where she planned the work of the servants and possibly planned planned a dinner or social event, and took time to relax and planned the day's activities. The next 4 slides show a page from a Shelley catalog printed during the 1930s. A big thank you to one of our members across the pond for sending it. The original photo of the catalog is on the right of my screen with a black arrow pointing toward the breakfast set. I've detailed on the left of my screen in larger print so you can read along because the catalog print is very small. This set did not include a muffin dish or a coffee pot or teapot. Instead, you have 33 pieces, 6 breakfast cups and saucers, 6-inch plates, 6 7-inch plates, 6 egg cups, 1 sugar basin, 1 slop basin, and a milk jug. Moving along, following the black arrow to the tea set, Shelley made a 40-piece tea set. This set was sold with 12 of each cup, saucers, plates, 1 slop bowl, 1 jug, and 2 butter plates. But sometimes the butter plates today are referred to as cake plates. The third slide shows Shelley's coffee set. This set was sold with 6 coffee cups and saucers, 1 sugar basin, 1 cream jug, and a coffee pot. But you could switch out the coffee pot for a milk jug instead if you wanted one of those. Note the set did not come with the muffin dish. Following the last arrow to the morning set. This set consisted of 8 pieces, 2 teacups and saucers, 1 cream jug, 1 sugar basin, 1 small plate, and a teapot. This set also did not include a muffin dish or egg cups or a bowl or plate. Nowadays, we call this set a tea for 2. So the breakfast set evolved from being assembled from a larger service, I believe. And these sets became popular and displayed as a status symbol to serve the same as the sterling sets that you would find on display in many homes. Not only were they beautiful to look at, but people associated them with wealth. If Shelley manufactured breakfast sets, it was to appease the market during that time. My next 2 slides are from a photo sent over by another Shelley member of Eleanor Ford's sitting room. The Etzel and Eleanor Ford home is located at 1100 Lakeshore Drive in Grosse Pointe Shores, Michigan. The house was built and designed by architect Albert Kahn in 1928. This mansion was designated as a national landmark in the year 2016, and you can take a tour of the house if you're interested. These slides show a dainty turquoise polka dot breakfast set placed on the table in Eleanor's sitting room. I think you will agree she had excellent taste in china. A close-up view of this set shows 2 bowls in what appears to be a 9 or 10-inch plate. An egg cup sits on a smaller plate, and absent from the set is the usual muffin dish. Thank you for sending these interesting photos to me to share with everyone. Searching for information about breakfast sets and how they came about, I became aware of some very interesting information about breakfast I'll share with you. The tradition of eating a morning meal has existed since ancient times, though it wasn't until the 15th century that breakfast came into the written English, and it means to break fasting of the prior night. In ancient Egypt, the morning meal consisted of bread and beer. Greeks and Romans preferred wine or milk to drink with porridge and salted bread. Breakfast as we know it did not exist. In pre-industrial Europe, it was a bad idea to drink water, so beer soup was popular as breakfast. Meat and dairy were very rare commodities. Drinking coffee did not become popular until the 19th century. Tea was never restricted to a single time of day. Richard Davies is the first person known to have sold an English breakfast tea in the year 1843 to people in New York. A Scottish merchant named Robert Drysdale created his own breakfast blend in the late 18th century for sale to the American market. Tea was first brought to Britain during the early 17th century. Tea was kept under lock and key because it was very rare and only the wealthy could afford it. Coffee was less expensive than tea and available to most people. More interesting information is the history of the English breakfast, which stretches back to about the 14th century. An English institution called the gentry thought of themselves as guardians of the traditional English country lifestyle and saw themselves as the cultured heirs of the Anglo-Saxons. By the time Queen Victoria came to the throne, the gentry was in decline to a new wealthy class of industrialists, merchants, and businessmen. For the aspiring and the wealthy, the Victorian breakfast became a way to demonstrate wealth and good taste. The Edwardian era is known as the golden age of long, leisurely breakfast and garden parties. Leading up to the First World War, the English breakfast became the standard in hotels, in bed and breakfast, on trains, and in meetings. It was during this era women would purchase the most expensive china that they could afford. Pieces of china were very ornate during the early years, and Wileman and Shelley truly met and exceeded the standards of this time. Strict protocol and etiquette were adhered to, and even the placement of the china at the table was important. Place cards were placed at each setting to avoid confusion as to where a person should sit. On a funny note, and this is sort of funny, what if you ended up sitting to someone next to someone that you thought was very boring? Well, I'll just let you imagine how you would handle that as we wander back to the time frame we're now and share more Shelley breakfast sets with you. This is a very charming breakfast set in the white with pink trim. The shape is called Butte. I've seen breakfast sets in this shape for sale on the internet many, many times, and I do think Shelley sold sets like this for the American market. You'll also find this set with initials on it because during this time it was also popular to monogram pieces of china and silverware with the initials of the owner. My next few slides will show different patterns of Shelley breakfast sets. Most found today are in the Danish shape. Occasionally you'll find a set in the oleander shape, and some very rare sets surface in the Butte and Gainsborough shapes. One of my very favorite patterns in the blue and white Danish shape is the Maisonette pattern. This set features a teapot with all the traditional pieces to make up the set. Notice the muffin dish is missing. This set is simply stunning. A Dani turquoise polka dot set featuring 2 different sized cups and 2 different sized egg cups. A Dani yellow polka dot set featuring 2 different size egg cups. Yellow is such a nice way to start your day. A dainty pink polka dot featuring 2 different size cups and a sugar and cream. The sugar and cream has its own underplate. So pretty to look at. This dainty set shows a mix of polka dots, a collection of different colored dots to make up the set. I'll show each piece for a close-up view. This dainty yellow polka dot muffin dish is the largest size that Shelley made. I've seen 3 different size muffin dishes and believe they were made for 3 different foods, and throughout the years have been misrepresented as muffin dishes that were actually butter dishes, and butter dishes that were actually muffin dishes, and so forth. If you have the answer to this, please let us know. A dainty polka dot yellow egg cup. A turquoise polka dot coffee pot. I believe the turquoise color was the most popular during the time Shelley manufactured the polka dot series due to the availability that we have on the market today. This color is seen more than pink, yellow, green, navy, or baby blue. A dainty turquoise fruit bowl. A dainty pink cream and sugar. Shelley also made polka dot pieces with several different polka dots on the same piece, several different colors of polka dots. And these pieces are very hard to find. A dainty green cup and saucer with green polka dots. Shelley manufactured 2 different colored green polka dots. This is the dark green, and they also manufactured a lighter green. Dainty white with blue plate with white polka dots. It's very rare to find this type of plate. Also very rare to find is a dainty white plate with navy blue polka dots. Now here are 3 different size muffin dishes with 3 different size domes. These are all misplaced and photoed on purpose to show the ill-fitting lids. When you're purchasing a dome lid to match your underplate, it's always best to have your piece measured so you buy the right size. A stack of dainty muffin dish underplate pieces. This is showing the 3 different sizes that Shelley made. Some people sell these bottom pieces as bowls. So if they have a ridge inside, you're actually purchasing a bottom muffin dish. Dainty Primrose is another favorite, with this featuring a teapot. It's easy to acquire this pattern, so it wouldn't be too difficult to put a breakfast set together. Another Dainty Primrose set. These sets look so beautiful under a glass cabinet. If you choose to make your own breakfast set, you have the advantage to make sure that every piece that you purchase is without damage. When these complete sets come up for sale, often a piece is missing or a piece is damaged, but the benefit of that would be in the price. You may save some money buying an imperfect set and then search for an upgraded piece of the pieces that are imperfect. When these sets come up to the market in perfect shape, then you would look to pay a steep price. Keep in mind the pattern you're working with. Is it available or is it scarce? If the pattern you choose is scarce, You'll naturally look for a complete set rather than to try to complete your own set. Here's some additional pieces sometimes found in breakfast sets. If you create your own set, a butter dish and a toast rack would replace the need to purchase the muffin dish. Dainty begonia is also plentiful, so it shouldn't take very much time to find the pieces that you need for a breakfast set. This set features a hot water jug and 2 different size bowls. A Dainty Stocks breakfast set is a favorite pattern among many collectors. This set features a large cake plate and a mustard and jam jar. Another plentiful pattern, so completing this pattern wouldn't be too hard. This Dainty Stocks features a teapot instead of the coffee pot or hot water pot. It's sort of up to you what pieces that you want to use and display in your breakfast set. Additional pieces of Dainty Stocks that can be displayed with breakfast sets. Note, it's rare to find either of these pieces in any pattern. This is a partial breakfast set with the Wileman back stamp. I've been working to complete this set for about a year now. The pattern's of a tiny pink rose, and I'm unsure of the pattern name. I'm looking for a Gainsborough teapot, a cereal or fruit bowl, and a small sugar basin in this pattern. If you have any of these pieces and are willing to part with them, please contact me. I'll be glad to purchase them from you. The same tiny rose pattern with the green laurel around the larger plate. Actually, I think it adds more interest using 2 similar patterns. The search keeps us interested, and of course, the quality. The quality of Shelley surpasses every other company, and I feel that's still true today as it was back in the day of manufacture. Here's a Dainty Blue Daisy. It's been the favorite of Shelley collectors for years, and I think you will agree with me that this pattern is timeless. Many collectors would cherish a full dinner set in the Dainty Blue Daisy pattern to adorn their holiday table. Another favorite among Shelley collectors is the Dainty Blue Rock pattern. Still abundant, but let me warn you, if you want to acquire this pattern to create a set, don't wait too long, because once these pieces are purchased and become less available, the price will naturally go up. Dainty Regency, a breakfast set for 2 people. What a great way to start the day, having breakfast with someone special. My last slide showing the Regency breakfast is also my favorite pattern because it's so functional with other patterns. You can use these dishes for almost any occasion. Regency goes with any decor, is clean slate to any color or accessory you choose, and is elegant but simple at the same time. A few years ago, Regency was very plentiful. However, with most Shelley patterns, this pattern's being bought up, and some pieces are hard to find. This is the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed watching the slides and listening to me speak. It's been my pleasure working with all of you who sent photos and those who work behind the scenes in other ways to make this presentation possible. Hopefully all of the information I shared today is correct. As I mentioned before, I'm not an expert, so your correction is very welcome if I said something that doesn't equate with your knowledge of Shelley. I hope we'll all meet again soon.
Wow, Betty, that's lovely. Thank you so much. I think we'd all love to clap hands there. Who knew? 3 sizes of muffin dishes? I had no idea. You've certainly made us value the kinds of breakfast that we have and the lovely china that we can use. So I'm certainly going to make some resolves to use some of the china and gather some breakfast sets. So thank you for giving us such a great entertainment and things to aspire to. Now, I think you're willing to take some questions. I don't know if anyone has questions. If you would be willing to either send a chat or raise your hand, that would be super. Let's see here. Let's see if I can see it.
Jerry Pierce has one.
Not actually a question, but Olwyn Dudgeon of the English group gave a talk 2 or 3 months ago about breakfast cups, the larger size, that if the whole breakfast thing interests you, on the via the UK website, you'll find there's a video presentation on breakfast cups, the larger size.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. That was something new. I know I saw her presentation and I don't even know if we see those over here in the US. So again, something else to look for, and definitely something to look at for those of you who are interested in expanding your idea of breakfast. Anyone else with a question or a comment? I'm not seeing, let me see here. I have 2 screens to look at. So Lee Clark, help me look. Are we anyone? Oh, here I see Sheldon, or yes.
Just a curiosity, there is a dainty white catalogue that shows all the different, well, most of the different pieces of dainty white. I've looked at it myself and I know it misses a few, but it shows on its right-hand side a picture of the muffin dish, but it says there's 2 sizes for covered butter, a large and a small, and 2 sizes for covered muffin, a large and a small, using the same dish. So I think there might be 4 sizes actually.
Oh my heavens.
Wow.
Wow.
Even more. Thank you. That's right. All sorts of sizes, I'm sure. Anyone else with a question or a comment? I don't, help me look here, everyone. I don't.
Donna,
Oh, Donna?
Donna has one. Donna Bignesi.
Donna, are you unmuted? It looks like you're unmuted. Go ahead, Donna. No, you just muted yourself. So go ahead, please.
Can't hear you.
Yes, a little louder.
Got it now. I wanted to thank Betty for a lovely presentation, and it was just great to see all those sets at one time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful.